Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler, and you have arrived at the 1/4 mark of our 100 Days of Zentangle project 2020. This is day 25, guys, and I have a pattern for you that you are just going to love. I can almost guarantee myself this is going to be a winner with y'all. Okay, so DAYZEE-MAE by Bunny Wright, CZT. And you're going to love this one. You can do just about anything with it. It can be, you can put it in a grid and cover a string space with it, which we probably will do. You can use it as a border. You can use it as a ribbon. You can decorate it a billion ways. I had so much joy and zen just sketching these few little examples out that I think you guys are going to have so much fun. And while we're at it, I just wanted to point out one thing. Look here. What I've done here on this is put an aura around it. And since we were talking about sparkling yesterday, I wanted to point out that even this, where I have left spots open in my lines, even this is a sparkle. And look at the difference adding just a little bit of sparkle makes even in a simple line in a border. So anyway, let's move on to the fun stuff. All right, let's start in the traditional Zentangle method way, and that is to appreciate right now the fact that we are here together, that we have the ability and the supplies to draw whatever our supplies are, appreciating this time together and being grateful for it, and breathing. And we're going to start by taking away the fear of that blank page, and we're going to take that fear away by putting 4 pencil dots in each corner, or 1 pencil dot in each corner. Take a deep breath with me. Whatever fears, worries, cares, burdens you have on your shoulders, let them fall away just for these few minutes together. All right, I am going to connect these 4 dots because I still don't know what I'm going to draw, so I'm going to draw a border. It can be curvy, it can be wiggly, it can be straight across, it can be whatever makes you happy. We know that I like the curvy stuff, so to challenge myself, I'm going to put a straight edge on there, but don't worry, this one's going to be crazy. I'm going to put a big loop in there. Okay, now I'm going to change it up even more, and I'm going to run a ribbon through this, like, let's see what happens if we do this and skip behind that loop and come up to our corner, and then I'm going to aura this, or put a parallel line, also skipping that area, which will hopefully turn into something fun. And you guys know I never know what's going to happen with these until we get into them, so it's going to be an adventure for all of us. All right, so this is the string that I'm going to use for today, and all of a sudden now we know where to start. All you have to do in the Zentangle method next is to choose a section to draw in. So since I'm going to step this out for you guys, I think I'm going to draw I'm going to put that right here, and I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to ignore my string here somewhat. I think I want to start with a straight line, and then a little bit away from there, give it a good piece of area so that you can have some fun. I'm going to put another line. And I think for fun, I'm going to put one more. I'm going to fill this whole section. Remember that the strings are suggestions. They are not rules. Strings are meant to nudge you and not to control you. All right? Now, if you will remember, a couple of days back, we did the pattern leaflet by Helen Williams. Okay? And in that, we set up our grid by making these sort of sloping shapes like this, right? And so then we would do another one, sort of like waves. And then we're going to come back around. When I get to this other string, I'm going to stop. Okay? And so I'm going to pretend this is here. And so if I were here, I would be going and coming back down here. So none of this is going to show. All right? So then when I get up to this one, I'm going to go mirror that on this side. So the easiest way usually for me to do that is to turn the tile 180 degrees and then come in from here. Let those touch. And remember, these do not have to be perfect. This is absolutely going to be fine. Okay? Let's do that again. Let's see. So if we start here, we're going to do like this. And like this. So basically, I don't know what happened there. My glasses are on my face. Okay, so we're going to keep doing this so we have these little leaf shapes in columns. Okay. Yes, does that make sense? Hopefully. All right, now the fun begins. Oh, and let me put in a mirror there. So if you're ever unsure what you should be doing, it should be the mirror of the section next to you, right? All right, hopefully that's true. All right, let's have some fun. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, in the middle of the base of each one of these shapes, we're going to put a half circle, okay? And in these cases where we have two together, it's going to be a full circle. So what I do is I start on the line, and let me see if I can zoom in a little bit without getting my hand in the way. Okay, so I'm going to start on this line, and I'm going to draw a circle whatever size I want it to be. It can be big, it can be small. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the next section. Does it need a circle or a half circle? This one's going to get a quarter circle. Okay, each one of these places needs a half circle. And remember, it can look whatever you want. But if you're going to do these sides together, then you're going to want them, don't have to, but generally, aesthetically, we're going to want these to be connected well, i.e. not a half circle here and a half circle down here, if that makes sense. So here we're going to do another one. All right, here I'm going to do a half. Okay, each one of these is going to get a half circle right in the middle of the flat set side. And let's see, would it be about here on this one? Okay, now go to each one of these circles that you have drawn, and I want you to aura it. Draw a parallel line that matches the circle you just drew, or the half circle. depending on your situation, like this. And I like to start on the line in these situations because it stops me from having those start-stop blobs. So it's just a little adaptation you can use to help you not have those. Keeping in mind that I have serious issues with arthritis, and it's affected my spinal column and all of my joints. And so I have lots of tremors and shaking. And so I have done, one of the reasons I adapt all of these patterns in the way that I do is because, and some not really, but is because I am always thinking about what can I do to stop this from being awkward, messy. You know, it's a constant accommodation, if you will, for the disability. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and sometimes they just make sense. So now we have drawn half circles in all of our little spots, and we have drawn auras around them. So we should have a situation looking like this. Okay, now the fun begins. Turn your tile 90 degrees. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a flower petal shape, if you will, starting at the apex of this half circle, and we're going to touch the top of the line with it and come back down like this. Okay, and so on each one of these, that was a little off center, wasn't it? It does not matter though, it's all going to work out, Cindy. You will love this pattern. It is so much fun. I zenned out so quickly with this one. The pattern is simple. It's not hard to not screw it up, which is a bonus for me. And you get to decorate, which is my favorite thing in the world. Let's see. I'll put a hint of one there. And add a few more here. So in each one of these little sections, you want to put one center petal into the equation here. They don't all have to match. They don't have to be perfect. You just want it to go from the center circle up and touch the line like so. They're going to be offset sometimes. That's not going to matter. You're going to love the way it looks. And so this one will probably be like so. And I don't know. We'll see. You know we will. All right. So now what we need to do is we're going to fill these in with petal shapes. And my tip for you is this. Always, always, whichever side you're working through, start at the center and move to the line. Don't start at the line and move back to the center. It's not going to work out as well for you. Okay? So if you're always starting with the center, what you're going to do is start up here, touch that line, come down just a little bit larger, shift your tile, and do the same thing, touching the line. You can put them in skinny, you can put them in fat, doesn't matter, it's going to be fine. Okay? Once again, do not give in to the urge to go back this way. Turn your tile, start at the top, and work it from here. Just trust me on this. You can do it the other way, but it tends to turn out messy and it won't be consistent with the other ones that you've done. And so that's all you've got to do now is fill in your petal shapes. Do them however you like them to look. Okay, and except in that case. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, keep going, Cindy. I'm getting confused there. Remember to start at the center petal and then just petal yourself crazy on over to the line. Sometimes you have a big spot to work in, sometimes you don't. And I wanted to point out that if you wanted to get smaller, you can. It'll just give you a different look. Okay, I prefer to not do what I just did and touch the line each time because it's less blacking, if you intend to black it, that is, and you don't have to. Okay. Just have fun enjoying that nice little curve. And if you don't shift your tile, it'll make a difference on how those petals turn out, as I just learned. If you shift it each time, you'll get a much nicer, more consistent look. Isn't that pretty? This is going to be so much fun. I haven't done it in a grid like this yet, so I played with it in the sketchbook, as you guys saw earlier, which was fun, fun, fun. So I hope you guys have got your drawing supplies out, and you have breathed and appreciated and felt gratitude for the opportunity to be here today, and that now you are drawing these pretty little flower petals in. And what could be nicer for the first day of May than for pretty little flower petals? And a pattern named DAYZEE-MAE. I had an Australian Shepherd for about 20 years that I had rescued, and she was such a beautiful, beautiful soul. She was so afraid of people, but if you could get past her fear with her, she was the most charming little pup I have ever had. Well, not little. I like big dogs, clearly. She was just a little flirt. She would flirt and wiggle her bottom. Her whole bottom would wiggle when she wagged her tail. It was the cutest thing. She would make little squeaking noise when she was happy. Oh, I miss my Daisy. It's hard to lose your pets, but I wouldn't change having them for anything. It is such a beautiful thing to have a pet be a part of your life and to have that connection. I feel very fortunate to have always had the ability to rescue dogs, and they have enhanced my life so greatly. I know a lot of you have dogs or cats or, you know, whatever, birds, chinchillas. Hopefully not. Hopefully nothing too exotic. Wish people would leave the wild animals in the wild where they thrive. Although they are so beautiful. We have a baby giraffe at our zoo here that was born in captivity. They are so beautiful. Just amazes me what nature has provided. All right. All right. Okay, you guys are getting excited, aren't you? Because how fun is this? All right, now comes the decision-making part. In the step out, all of the areas here between are blacked, okay? So what we would have if we blacked this would be a sea of these little daisy looking flowers, okay? That's going to be a very cool look. This look. But also you can do the straight line thing through. You can aura it. You can have a completely different look depending on what you want. And so right now I'm going to, because I think it's going to be cool, I think I'm going to blacken the areas between and see where that ends up. And I'm going to put some music on for you guys and see if we can get into a little bit of a Zen flow. Enjoy your inking process, guys. Enjoy it. It is an awesome thing. If you can come to that point where you can enjoy it. And I'm not done with this tile. I intend to explore this even more and have a variety of DAYZEE-MAE looking areas here. And so we're going to have a lot of fun with this. I hope you'll join me on the other side. Now, that's a pretty fun start, don't you think? The next part we can do is embellishing, and that is the most fun for me. But I think first I want to finish putting in my versions of DAYZEE-MAE here in these other sections, or not, as I decide. So I definitely think I want to put a single strand right through on this river. I always think of these ribbon sections as rivers. Don't ask. So I think I'm going to put, I'm going to try to make it fairly large and see what happens. So that'll actually just be a half of a one. That'll work. That will work. So then I would turn this, and this would go down through here. And we'll just head down that direction, but it won't be complete like that. Okay, so then we will put in, let's go ahead and draw in this line. You know, I always leave those string lines alone unless I'm sure that I don't want these to intermingle. Okay, and so I probably need this one up here too. Okay, and let's see, so I'll put in, I think I'm going to put in a really big middle here, just to see what happens. And I'm going to aura that. And then, let's see, would that even start over here yet? Put something like that. And I think once again we've got that entirely in this hole. Maybe not. Probably be all right. Probably be all right. A little smaller. But that'll work. And then I think that's as far as we're going to get in there. All right, next I'm going to draw in my petal, my large petal. I'm going to see if I can make these sort of wide and flat. Like so. And let's see. Let's go like this. And let's see. Almost got it. Now, for those of you who are not into blacking as a general rule, and that would include myself, we are definitely not going to be blacking these. For one reason, we want a contrast between this next section so that we have something different for the eye to look at. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw parallel lines in here that are going to be parallel to the line of the string. Okay, so basically and so as I move over here, then I would be wanting to okay, so basically we'll change the texture of this section as opposed to what's in this other one. Okay, shading will also be a huge part of this. And so here we're going to want to match the line of the string. It's going to be the hard part for me, is remembering which direction I'm going. So that these lines will be curving with. Try not to worry about whether they're going to line up or not. They may and they may not. But I think it'll be fine. As long as you focus on what you're doing with the lines where you are at that moment, it's gonna sort itself out. So here I am matching this curve right here, and that's all I'm worrying about. So we have set it up to where it's going to work. Oops, I forgot to draw in the petals, and so this would be going this way, and so they'd be going out. See, right there, that'll work. And you can see that the more you play with it, the more time you spend what-ifing it, if you will, getting to know it, seeing what happens if you do this and what happens if you do that, I think the more you're going to enjoy this. Okay, one more section. Now I'm definitely going to leave this as negative space. The question is, what do I want to do here? And what I want is one great big huge one. And I'm trying, sort of like we did in the patience tile. And I'm trying to figure out, so what we really just need is to do it on, will that work? Let's find out. So I would want the flat section to be here. And so I will draw my, this might be too much thinking for me. This is going to be a partial one. We're going to find out how it works, because I don't even think we're going to be able to see the middle of it, which was not good planning on my part, because that's sort of part of the fun. But we're going to make it work for us, and I'm going to do something entirely different with my petal shapes this time. I've been dying to try this. Sort of long and thin. Oops. And tapered. And let's put a bunch of them in here and just see what happens, because we can. This is going to work just as well. You can put them in, you can taper them down in size, or you can just keep matching up to the top. And remember, the more you hit the top with these, the less fill you'll have to do. All right. I think this is going to look fun. Not really the daisy, it's more the mum now, isn't it? All right. Can't decide whether to put anything over here or not. Probably do that. And so if I do this, then this will be this way. And so I'll have, I know guys, this is a lot of thinking even for me, especially for me. But I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to see what happens. All right. Fun stuff. I might black it. Or I might do an outer aura. Like that. I like that. Different kind of an aura. Give a different movement. And anytime you can have two things coming up against each other that are somehow visually different, that's always a plus. All right, now let's do some decorating. So one of the most fun things that I enjoyed about this pattern was decorating the little flowers. And so I did everything here. I put little flower petals in. I blacked in the center circle, which I believe is the way the step out is. I put these cute little things in there. I filled the edges with orbs. I did this number. I stippled on this one, put these little circles around the aura in there. So you can do whatever you want. Make yourself happy. Go to town. And because I can, and it's my tile, I am going to sneak some color in here. So I'm going to first embellish. But this is getting long. So I'm gonna, okay, stay with me if you want to through embellishing. I'm just going to let my imagination guide me, which is what I want you to do. Just let it guide you. And one of the first things I'm going to do is add line weight to, let's see, to this side, I think, of each one of these circles. So if I've got a circle on this side, I'm just going to add in a little bit of thickness, and I'm going to do it on the same side. And this is what I am doing. You do not have to do what I'm doing. Remember, the Zentangle method is about exploration. It's about relaxation, and therefore rules and all of that, you know, no. It just doesn't work. So no mistakes, only opportunities, guys. There are no mistakes in Zentangle, only opportunities to explore something that you maybe hadn't thought of before. Okay. Now remember, if you don't want to worry about the embellishing part, don't. If you just want to, you know, get a colored pencil and color, do that. There is nothing wrong with other media, in using other media in the Zentangle method. It is called Zentangle inspired art. So anything with color, really anything that is not your standard Zentangle is considered Zentangle inspired art. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with this, which is why I keep turning it. I think I'm going to start on this ribbon here. And I loved my little, this little decoration here. Very Art Deco type of a thing. If you want to decorate these, you know, with, I don't know, firecrackers, go for it. I want everyone to be happy. I want you to be joyful in your creation. Whatever makes you happy. And if someone tells you it's stupid or wrong, tell them, well, I'm not going to start any feuds, but there is no wrong. There is no right. There is just what you want as an artist to create. And so if you want to do something different, please, I beg you, please do that, because it will make you happy. There should be relaxation, enjoyment. The structured patterns in Zentangle are not about the patterns. They're about the fact that by using the patterns, you are able to achieve a zen flow, the ability to allow your body and mind to relax and not think about what am I going to draw next, but instead think about you know, whatever is important in your life, and allow your muscle memory to continue to complete each stroke, because there's no expectations. You can't do it wrong. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Now I think on these big ones here, I think I'm going to cross hatch it. Okay, since we've been talking about sparkling, we're going to talk about this kind of sparkling. This is another kind of sparkling, okay? If you're want to fill a pattern and you want to do the crosshatch, which basically means that's a crosshatch, okay? Some, you know, self-explanatory. So what I want to do is crosshatch this, but I want to use a sparkle in it. So as we've talked about, using a sparkle is just about leaving a gap or putting a place with no ink where there would normally be ink, okay? Now for a crosshatch, and I left several spots here right in the middle where there's a little blank spot, okay? And that's absolutely fine. Now I'm going to go across that, and the closer I get to these spots where I have this situation, bless you little boy, I'm going to start leaving more gaps. Okay? So what you end up with is a really cool effect with little highlights, right? And so since I made these large center things, and I have the ability to do that. So I think I can do another one right here. And I'm just going to start, leave a dot or just a little spot of space in the general direction. Not all of them, you don't want to do that, but just a few. Remember, when you're going to hatch something that has a curve, just try to move with the lines. All right, it doesn't have to be perfect, but look what a cool effect that has on those sections, right? Okay, so I think I've got these. I think I need to put a little faux crosshatch in here. All right, and we'll finish that up with shading. So now for these, I think I'm going to black the centers of these and leave a little highlight. A little crescent moon highlight. I'm going to put it the same general spot on each one. Up just like that. Now I think I'm going to add some of my little flower petal-y things that I do, these little flicks. I'm going to shift my position for each one so that I have a comfortable angle for my hand. Otherwise you tend to get them going off on their own, and it's not exactly the effect that you're looking for. Okay. What do you think? Fun, huh? I've got another brand new tangle for tomorrow. I'm still watching for your comments. I know I'm really far behind on those. I'm gonna do my best. For now, right now, I'm feeling like the fact that I'm getting these videos out every day is a big one. So I'm cutting myself a little bit of slack on everything else, but I am reading your comments. I do see them. And I thank you very much for them, each and every one. And each like that you guys give me, I appreciate those. Those matter. Those matter to YouTube, so they matter to me. All right, I need to finish this up. So I'm going to go opposite here, which I think is going to give a cool effect. Oh, I love this. This is fun. I have just enjoyed everything about this pattern. Everything. And I think I want to do something in here. I think I'll black it. And now, right now, before I add my graphite, I am going to let myself go nuts and put a tiny bit of color in here. I have two pencils here. One is very inexpensive. It's by Crazy Art, and just a standard pencil that you can get for kids. And so I am going to use this, see how it works over here, and I am just going to put a tiny splash of color around the base. I'm just laying this down in tiny little circles, just like I do with my Prismacolors. It's not just super pigmented, but it's a colored pencil. It's a little color. Okay, now I'm going to use my very favorite yellow in the world, which is my canary yellow with Prismacolor, the Prismacolor Premier. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Let's see what kind of a difference I'm going to get. Again, I'm just going to put little lazy circles. I'm big on the lazy, especially right now. I'm just going to gently lay down. Remember, less is more with colored pencil. You can, if you go easy and don't press down hard, you can put in multiple layers if you want. That's basically you know, the difference between the two. Prismacolors or the higher end pencils, I have a richer pigment to them. But sometimes the cheaper versions can work just as well. So there you go. I'm going to, of course, use my Prismacolor on the rest of these because I can. And so we have crossed from traditional Zentangle now into Zentangle inspired art, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If color is what makes you live and breathe, then do color. You know, if it makes you happy to put color on a tile, put color on there. That's how I ended up in Zentangle. Was you know, I was busily doing the adult coloring books, and some of them are exquisite and wonderful to work in. Some of them are really not worth anything, and and I was seeing the same pictures in different coloring books show up. So, you know, I got really frustrated. I realized I could probably sketch or draw some of the things they were. I was drawing a dragon for the kids and looking for some kind of a pattern that I could use on the wings to make them look sort of leathery. And pattern, and immediately I started getting Zentangle. And I really didn't understand it for the first more than the first year. I really did not understand. I was like most people. I thought we were talking about patterns, you know. Zentangle meant patterns. Zentangle uses patterns. They use the structured patterns to take away the stress of what to draw, right? And so in that, patterns are important in Zentangle, but what Zentangle is a method. It's a drawing method that allows you to achieve a zen, relaxation. It is very healing. It is taught in mental hospitals and regular hospitals as art therapy all over the world. It is huge in Asia. We have, at least when I went to CZT training, we had CZTs in more than 49 countries. Can you even imagine? And so it's really a phenomenon, and it's more than patterns. People think that Zentangle is trying to copyright patterns. They don't care about that. They freely give their patterns and are happy to use other patterns, and they don't care. What they care about is are you using those patterns to achieve a zen? Are you able to use them, you know, in a way that relaxes you and calms you? That's the whole thing with the patterns in Zentangle. So, oh, look at that. That's pretty. That is pretty. I've got to get this in under a different light because this is really washing my color out. That is so pretty. All right. So the question is, what are we going to do with the rest of this? So, one important note, if you're going to do as I have done and try to overlap sections like this, so you're definitely going to want to apply graphite, particularly here along the edge of where the sections meet. That is going to drop one section back, lift the other one up, go right over your colored pencil if you have it on there like I do here. Do your colored pencil first though. It won't apply nearly as nicely if you do it over graphite. You know, don't put graphite over your black if you can avoid it. Look at that. It lifted that side right up off and dropped the other side back. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to drop this section behind, and I'm going to go ahead and even add this in this area where I don't have anything going on. It will still be shadowing. And even over here where the string was, and we don't have anything else, I'm gonna put graphite there. Now, when you have situations like this, you can make a choice. Do you want this section right here to be above this, or do you want it to be below? Now, that would seem to be obvious because clearly we put it above. But if you shade it from the inside, then it will look like it's dropping down in there. So I have a choice on how to handle it. I can either shade around it like this and lift that really far up off. No, you really can't tell. This light situation is terrible. Well, maybe that's better. Like that. And you have one look. But if you shade on this side, and of course, no tortillons are necessary here. I have one of my punched in ones. If you have this problem, you just need a paper clip. The problem is I don't have a paper clip right now. It's still gonna work though. Okay, so as we smooth this, and forgive that, as we smooth this out on this side, that lifts it up. But if we drop the shadow in over here, well, actually what we just did is make it a sphere, and I think I'm gonna go for that. That's what I'm gonna do. That is a level of shading. I don't usually go that far, but in this instance it'll work really well. So let me finish the rest of this, and then we'll get serious about shading this correctly. I almost had it done anyway, so. Okay, so let's see, one more. Okay. Now again, you can't, oh, that's better. So now you can see that that middle shape has sort of been lifted up. Okay, I'm going to do another shading run. And with this, what I'm going to do, what I have done unintentionally, is treat this like a sphere as far as the shading goes. And so what we do here is basically we make one side really dark, like a sort of crescent moon's worth of dark. We're going to blend up. And then around the outside edge on the other side, we're going to put a sort of a drop shadow. Don't start asking me about this. I'm not an expert shader. I only know this stuff because somebody else taught me. And I only marginally understand it, but this is going to work. Well, except now I need an eraser, don't I? Ta-da! Merry Christmas. Alright. See if I can do this without a point on my tortillon. So it's basically a dark drop shadow on the opposite side, a dark contouring shadow about a third of the way up over here, and then in the middle you do a very light sort of, I can't decide the right way to do this. want something really, really light here in the middle. Once I find my tortillon, this will be much better. And just like that, something like that. Anyway, to add some interest. All right, so I'm going to continue and finish this up on my own. Let me hold this way. It looks much better. And then I am going to be looking for you guys' art. Let me know if you have any questions and comments. I will do my best to answer them. I know this video was long, but we covered a whole lot of stuff in there, and I hope some of it was helpful for you. All right, guys, we have finished a quarter of this bad boy. We are going to make it the next 75 days together. Thanks for being with me, and I'll see you tomorrow.